Hey guys, so I know it's February and we just had Valentine's Day, but I have received some requests to share a look at my December daily album, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. If you're not familiar, this is the album. I'll just show you. The album is Allie Edwards' album that I bought through her shop. Allie Edwards is the memory keeping guru I've been following closely for the past year, and I've absolutely fallen in love with her classes, her products, her blog, her vibe, her memory keeping mojo. I don't know. I've fallen down the rabbit hole with this stuff, and it's just been so great for me because I used to love scrapbooking when I was in my throughout high school really, and college, and in my early 20s, early part of my marriage. I was really into it. And then I just kind of stopped and wasn't into it at all. And then I had my daughter over a year ago. She's almost 14 months now. And I was like, I want to get back into this because I just think it's so fun to look back on those sorts of things personally. And I wanted to have that available for Charlotte should she be interested in it. If she's not, it's okay, because right now it's mainly for me. It's a way for me to hold on to stories and memories, and it's an important way of processing for me too, I have found, creatively and kind of even emotionally. And it's such an important time in my life, and I just want to kind of remember it in physical form as well as in my brain. So that I've jumped into Project Life, which is a weekly project, a weekly album, which I might share a little bit more about down the line if there's interest. My process with that, I use Project Life is Becky Higgins' company. I use her products for that, but I've definitely followed Allie Edwards' vibe with the way she uses that. She's really inspired me. I will highly recommend checking out her blog. I will link her below. Her website is amazing. I do her One Little Word project, which is sort of a self-exploration, almost like a New Year's but whole year round kind of goal setting program, which is great. It's not really memory keeping. It's more like self-exploration, I would say, and self-growth kind of project. And then I also did December Daily, which is an Allie Edwards inspired project. I took her class. It was amazingly helpful, and I just really like her classes. Her videos are very almost soothing, kind of meditative. The way she talks just kind of makes me feel calm, but it's also very informative and interesting if you like memory keeping like I do. This is my album. The December Daily Project is a daily scrapbooking kind of memory keeping project for the month of December, where you do a combination of images, journaling, and you can use as much or as little craft as you want to sort of capture the moments of December. And Allie suggests focusing on one story a day, and how much you write or how little you write is up to you. I'll talk a little bit more about my process when I'm showing you the album. I wanted to pop on here so you guys could see my face and not just my mystery hands in the video. I know the video quality isn't quite as great. I don't have a lot of opportunity to film during the day, so I have to film a lot of my overhead stuff at night. So I apologize in advance for that. And I did have to blur out just a few pages. There's a couple of people in my family who just aren't comfortable being online, and I totally respect that. So I just used some vellum and popped in some vellum over some pictures, and I covered one other thing. But I'm going to talk about the products I use, my process, how I went about doing this, and how it turned out, and how I felt about how it turned out. And I'm going to tell you, I really enjoyed it, and I would totally recommend doing this or attempting to do it if you're into that kind of thing. I'll talk a little bit more about physical products as well, what worked, what didn't, things I want to work on in my kind of crafting skills in general, and also thoughts on next year's album, because I do plan on hopefully embarking on this next year. But I'm going to get into all that now. So if you'd like a close-up look, keep watching. And yeah, I'll catch you on the flip side. Okay guys, so here is my album, my 2016 December Daily album. This is an Allie Edwards album I bought off her site. It was released, I think a couple months prior. She releases all of her kits and things. And the album came with this pin dot cover. It's got a gold metallic pin dot cover. I added these embellishments onto the side. I used a lot of things from Martha Stewart Crafts that I had purchased many years ago and just had in my collection. I don't think they're readily available anymore. But this felt sticker with the bell was a thing. It was just like an all-in-one adhesive thing. And then I just took a banner that I cut down to size. I put some glitter number stickers on top, and I used Mod Podge to kind of seal it in. And then I just attached it using red line tape, which has become my new favorite adhesive ever. I did travel with the album. I took it to Utah, and the way I packed it is I wrapped it in one of Charlotte's baby blankets, put it in a big Ziploc bag, like a really big one, extra big one, and we brought it in a carry-on wheelie bag that Don has, that I actually gave him for Christmas. And so the album didn't come to any harm. It's a little bit loosey-goosey around the hinges, and I think that's just because it's stuffed so full. Originally, I had planned to do all 31 days of December. I only made it through 25 before I kind of A, burned out, and B, ran out of room. So that's something to consider. Next year I hope to do the whole month, but if I only get up through 25 days, that's fine too. I do still kind of want to do something to the inner cover here. I want to put like our surname or something, like put Ross in big letters. I bought some big glitter letters to do that with. It's got a little bit of some glue on it, but we'll see if I get to that. And I don't have a lot of camera zooming room to show you like further away. This is the best I can do, so bear with me. And like I mentioned, I do have some things kind of blurred out with vellum that are just a little too private to share with people who didn't want to be shared. So the cover page, I decided to do a transparent cover page because I really got inspired by Ali Edwards with that. And I used this piece of clear plastic that I actually cut off of a folder, and it ended up breaking in a couple of places. It's actually continuing to break, so I think I might end up redoing this. I won't be able to pull this off, unfortunately. The acrylic December, that came in an Ali Edwards kit that was available for December Daily. But I'm going to redo the cover page, I think, because this just is falling apart already and it's only February. But I like the idea of having the clear cover page with our holiday photo, our main holiday photo that we shot this in October of last year. I like the way that looks, so I might try to recreate this a little bit. The side stickers were Martha Stewart. These were chipboard numbers that I embossed, and they kind of burnt a little bit. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I embossed them with gold embossing powder, and they just kind of burnt, but it kind of gives this burnished look. And like I said, the acrylic December was from Ali Edwards, and I just used super glue to attach those things. The back of this I meant to do something with because it just looks all weird, but I never did, and now it's breaking, so I'm glad I didn't take the time to do that. So here is the cover page. This is our photo. Like I said, it was our main Christmas card photo, our family portrait from the fall, and I plan on doing family portraits in the fall for our annual Christmas cards, and it's nice to be able to have an updated family portrait every year. Oh, here now I think I can zoom in a little bit more for you. Okay, again, I'm going to apologize about the glare. I have to use a lot of lights because of the way that the lighting is in here, but I'll try to kind of adjust accordingly. I did do, Ali Edwards suggests doing a reason why page, and I'm going to redo my reason why. This is very private, but I decided it's something I want to share with you. And this is another picture I used from our holiday photo shoot in October with Winnie and Charlotte that I just love. And then I just used a Photoshop. You can get Ali Edwards digital kits, and she has these what do I want to call this, like you just pop in your pictures in your own text, but she has it already laid out. I can't think of what that's called right now. I'm having a brain fart. But let me read you my reason why. And she suggests doing this just because of a way to frame yourself for your project. Do this before your project starts. You can include it or not. I decided to include mine. I said, and I wrote, "It's the eve before December, and I'm excited and a little bit nervous about the project project/journey I'm about to embark on with December Daily. It feels somewhat reckless of me to assume a daily project like this during the busiest month of the year when there are so many other things that demand my time and attention. My house is a mess between the remaining decorating that needs to be done and half-finished projects I'm working on. I'm throwing a party in a week that I haven't even begun to plan for. I need to plan Cece's first birthday party. I've decided to commit to a quite time-consuming extra video project, Planmas. That's on my planner channel. If you guys want to check it out, I'll link that channel below for you. For the month, not to mention all the usual posting work, home upkeep, cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, and baby care that needs to be done. But my heart is set on this. I decided in September that I was going to go for it, that I needed to do this, not only as a keepsake for my daughter, but also, and more presently, as a way for me to cultivate, appreciate, and hold on to the magic of the season. I'm tired of looking so forward to the holidays only to feel worn out and weary come mid-December. I know in order for me to have the kind of magical holiday experience I desire, I need to make it for myself, and hopefully my family will benefit from my efforts as well. Especially Charlotte. I want her to grow up relishing the wonder of the season and to have warm memories of Christmas magic. I think this project will help me find and focus on the magic, and in doing so, make it for myself and my family. I'm ready to live in this moment, find the magic, capture the story, and make memories for me and my little girl. Ready or not, here we go. And then here I went. I can't move this over anymore because of the way. Let me move you over a little more. Haha, look at me getting creative. Okay, now I really can zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so I started off with a bang. Day one, I did a vellum overlay, and I bought a lot of the overlays you'll see on scrapbook.com. And the numbers and kind of embellishments here are from Ali Edwards' kits that I bought. So I wanted to kind of start out with this just sort of dreamy look. And I didn't really have a idea of a theme going in, but it ended up being sort of these earthy tones and gold star theme. I guess if you can say there was a theme. So the first day, and all is calm and all is bright is another theme that pops up a lot in my album. So I took this picture and I wrote in text. I used Photoshop to do this, and I'll just read you what I said. It says, "The baby woke just before 5. Bad dream, question mark? I rocked her back to sleep and tiptoed out of her room to enjoy the peaceful stillness of the house before she woke again moments later." It's a typical kind of mom of a baby moment, right? But I just loved having this shot. I really wanted a shot of my banister and this time of day when it's still really night. You can see the tree in the background. I just love that. So I printed this out large and pasted it on a piece of cardstock. Here is a place where I have some vellum just kind of placed over. The next evening was Don's work holiday party, and he wrote and read this incredible speech that he made into a poem, which I'm not going to share here, but I wanted to include that in there. That's Don giving this speech. This is, again, some more Martha Stewart craft stuff I had on hand. I've blurred out a photo there of people who want to remain kind of anonymous, and there's Don with his folks at the party. So basically what I did was I dedicated, most days I dedicated 2 sides of a spread, like a full laid out spread to a day. That's another reason why it ended up being such a big album, and I used a lot of embellishments and ephemera, which you'll see. Day 3 I dedicated I backtracked a bit. Ali Edwards talks in her class about giving yourself permission to not stick necessarily to the day. Like, it doesn't have to be on the 3rd that I'm talking about a story that happened on the 3rd. I'm backtracking to when I was decorating and I had this ordeal with our tree and cutting all the lights off the tree because I was just fed up with it burning out all the time, and stringing up my own lights and just loving the way that turned out. Sorry, I have to remember to keep kind of holding this up for the glare. And I used a lot of different page protector kind of arrangements. Again, inspiration from Ali. I love the way that this came together, showing little decor parts of my house, and using kind of some of the pockets just to have a little bit of see-through parts too, to add a little interest there. So I really like the way that turned out. Here I dedicated 2 days to decorating because it was such a large effort with the house. I kind of go all out with the decorating. But so on the 3rd, I kind of dedicated to the first level, and then on the fourth some more of the kitchen, some of my bedroom that I decorated. And this is Charlotte, a selfie I took of us. You can actually see me holding her in the mirror, and I'm taking this picture with my other hand, so I'm holding her. And this is her seeing the tree for the first time. The first thing I put up in our house is the little Mickey tree that we got at Disney World years and years ago that I put up in our bedroom. It's the first thing I put up. This was a picture back from November. It was her first time like really seeing a lit up Christmas tree, and she just loved it. And I thought I captured that moment pretty well with that picture. And just so you know, you guys, I used my iPhone for all of the pictures. I did not use any special camera or anything, just iPhone. I do have a very fancy printer, which I will link for you below. It is ridiculously expensive, but I wanted to invest in something like that I could print large-scale things on for my 12 by 12 project life album, which is the main reason I bought that printer. It prints amazing quality photos too, which is a happy bonus. So I use that primarily for this album, but for my project album I use a little Epsom PictureMate printer, which is much less expensive, and you just get 4x6 or 5x7 photos out of it, and it's great for quick and easy printing. Here on the 5th, I just dedicated to Charlotte's first experience with snow. It did snow when she was a very tiny newborn, but this was her first experience kind of like really knowing what was going on. And I like that I went with a cooler tone with this spread. I really most of my spreads are very warm toned, but I like the way that I used cooler tones kind of to reflect the feeling of the day and the weather. I did dedicate some spreads to Winnie and her love of winter as well. So that's Winnie with her little snowballs on her paws. And you'll see I didn't write as much as I thought I would with my stories. Some of my stories are just labels, like the magic of Christmas time. This is just 5 things. It was a little kit card from an Allie Edwards kit. Here I just wrote a bit there. But I think next year I want to incorporate a little bit more text, but I was really just playing more with crafting this time around. I think that was kind of one of my main focuses in like the physical aspects of the album. This is me dancing with Charlotte. I again used another overlay that I bought from scrapbook.com, and I just kind of backed the day. I used like a punch to cut out the paper to ring around the 7, and then I backed it with a selfie I took using my timer. Don was out of town that week on business, so a lot of the pictures from this week you don't see him in, but the selfie I took of us in the basement playing, a little story I put around the side. Tried to use different ways of recording stories, through typing on my computer, through writing directly on photos with text, that sort of thing. This was kind of a fun thing to do. I did some holiday baking early in the month, and I gave Charlotte her first taste of a cookie. I will just scooch this down a second so you can see. And I used kind of cutout journaling that I printed out and cut into strips to document. I took really fast photos with my iPhone while she was eating the cookie for the first time. I'll read this to you. I said, I handed her a warm chocolate chip cookie fresh out of the oven. She looked at me skeptically, so I took a bite out of it to show her and then gave it back. So that's her looking at me. She studied it carefully in her hand for a moment, then took a little bite. That's her taking a little bite. She looked back up at me, and her expression said it all. That was the expression. It was like, oh, this is yummy. She quickly shoved the whole thing in her mouth. That's her shoving the whole thing in her mouth. Cookies are yummy. So this definitely took up a lot of room in the album. You can see it adds a lot of bulk, but it was a technique I wanted to try and experiment with. And this album is great for that because it's meant, you can really do as much or as little as you want with it because it's just a month-long project. It's not something I'm doing every day of the year. I feel like I can spend a little bit more time on it, and it's such a special time of year. And I really went all out trying so many of the different techniques I learned throughout the year. The next spread I dedicated to a holiday party we threw. I just have one photo blocked out there. That's what that is, if you're wondering. And I just used a list style journaling thanks to a card that kind of helped me frame that. A lot of the embellishments you see here are from Allie Edwards kits that I purchased. That's our family. The next day, I talk about, lighting a fire and Charlotte's first, experience with the fire in the fireplace. There's Mom building the fire. This was a picture I took of another snow we had early in the season. And then I used Photoshop. I use a like an add-on feature that you can pay for called Red Lab, which I will link below. This is a highly edited photo. Yes, I took it on my iPhone, but I edited the crap out of this photo. Excuse my language. But again, I tied in that all is calm, all is bright theme. That was another one of my overarching themes of the album. Not intentional, just kind of what do I want to say? Unfolded that way, I would say. But I really love the way that picture turned out, so I blew it up to be the size of a page protector and punched holes right into the photo. And I did the same with the next spread, which you see is Charlotte's first visit with Santa Claus. So they took kind of like a posed photo of her beforehand, which I thought came out really cute. You can see how happy she was, really cute. And then what I did is I took the envelope that they gave us at the place. We went to our local mall, which had a great Santa. And I added some little embellishments to it. These little stickers are from Martha Stewart's for the most part. And then I took a little label sticker that was an Allie Edwards sticker called Story, and I used a little arrow sticker from a Recollection sticker kit I have. So you would know to look in here. And then you come in here, you come in here and you see it says ho ho ho, so that gives you a sense that it's Santa, and it says Hello Santa right here with a tab to pull. So here is Charlotte. You can see the difference between Happy Baby and not Happy Baby. But this is a very typical for kids for their first Santa experience. The Santa was great. Charlotte was terrified, but it only lasted a second, and then she was fine as soon as I picked her up, which was literally a second later. Makes for a funny memory though. I have this little tab at the bottom here so you know to lift up for more on the story, and I put a picture in both of Charlotte's grandmas came with us. My mom and Suzanne came with us. It's us waiting in line to go see Santa, so I just used some paper I had. I think there's Martha Stewart's crafts paper I had on hand. And what I did with this story, this was a longer story, I wrote a letter to Santa from Charlotte apologizing for how she was unhappy about the situation, but also going over the day and kind of what happened and stuff like that. So I like the way that turned out. I thought that was cute. And I like having this sort of interactive element in the album. This is another, I mean, a lot of the things you see in here are all inspired by Allie Edwards, and I really took to heart a lot of her advice and suggestions in her class. She suggests writing a letter to Santa yourself, or a letter to yourself, something like that. So I decided to go ahead and take advantage of some paper that kind of helped with that. I used some big stamps for that. Here is another first. So it was Charlotte's first Christmas, so there was a lot of firsts to document, and I used a little extra page protector and some of these Avery tabs that you see Allie Edwards is obsessed with to document a little bit more about watching The Grinch for the first time and how fun that was. So the next day I dedicated, my story was about putting together my Christmas cards and getting them all ready to get sent out. And I did my journaling kind of around this card here, which I circled the date on. And I wanted to be able to put our card and envelope in without punching holes in it. So what I did is I attached it to some acetate and punched holes in that. And I just used some washi to kind of cover up where I have the adhesive there. And so I have the card floating in there. I did cover up our address with this little bit of washi. I will pull that off when I'm done showing this video, but you can see what our envelope looked like. I ordered our cards from Tiny Prints. I love Tiny Prints for this sort of stuff. I even ordered the custom stamps through them. That's another picture from our photo shoot. And here I'll just give you a look at our card. Love the way they turned out. I'm not going to flip it over. Well, here, I'll flip it over to show you the pictures, but I'm not going to show you the letter. But love the way that turned out. And even the envelope liner is a little Charlotte there. That's the picture from the Reason Why page, actually. So love the way that turned out. Finally, Don is home, and I wanted to make sure that he's in the album a little. He's been so busy with work lately, you guys. It's been, you know, there's different seasons in your life when it comes to work and stuff like that. So he's been very busy, but I wanted to make sure that he was in the album as much as possible too. So I have him here. He's making the eggnog for us, which he does every year. It's one of his traditions. I make the cookies, he makes the eggnogs. Here, that's that story there. And I even put in a copy of the eggnog recipe, which is on my Pinterest page. You can see I shared that way back when my website was still organizedjen.com. So that's another layering aspect. And you'll see I use lots of stars in this album. Glitter stars, gold stars, chipboard, things like that. Those little, when we get to one, I'll tell you more about where that star was from, the glitter stars. But On the 17th, we went out to dinner to the Cheesecake Factory, and I love this picture Dawn took of us, of me and Charlotte. Charlotte's just eating on my lap. She's got her teething toy right there too. She's got a piece of bread. I love that picture. I just made it black and white with that Red Lab extension for my Photoshop software. And then I decided to go ahead and use this thankful prompt for that day, because it was something I knew I wanted to include in my album. So this kind of just helped me capture my feelings of gratitude for the month. On the next day, I took my mom to the Nutcracker, which they did a new version this year, which I actually really enjoyed. Like, I've always loved the traditional version. I didn't have expectations for Christopher Wheeldon's new Nutcracker, but I actually really enjoyed it. And I used this 12 pocket protector to include a lot of photos, and also I cut up the program. So what you see here, this here is the front cover of the, not the album, what do I want to say, the program. The like ballet program, you know, the program they give you when you go to the ballet, and I cut it up to fit in because I wanted to include that somehow. The color scheme worked perfectly with my album too, which just is a happy accident. And I also wanted to have some of the like actual ephemera from the month in my album, so I cut up the tickets and I put them in there, and I just made sure to make little notes where I could, where there was a story I wanted to share, so people would know to like flip up if it's not just me looking at the album. I need to adhere this a bit better onto here because I just have it on with washi right now. This is actually Erin Condren washi, and I just don't think that's going to stand the test of time, so I probably need to glue that down. But I like the way I kind of played. I had played with that for a long time before I came up with that. And then I just wrote a tiny little story there. For this year, I let most of the pictures and crafting I did tell the stories. I also printed out a little text message exchange my mom and I shared. She sent me a picture that somebody had taken for us and wrote a couple of nice things to me. So I think that's another nice thing that Ali Edwards, again, inspired me to include. Of course, another dedicated Winnie spread. I tried to take a picture of Winnie every day, and this was up through like the first 12 days. I had saved them in her different holiday bows because I was going to do a dedicated bow post, but it more ended up being a dedicated just like the many faces of Winnie, like how she likes to hang out. And I just used some puffy stickers there. Again, I use another kind of acetate overlay that I purchased from scrapbook.com. The 19 was dedicated to Winnie, and the 20 was dedicated to Charlotte's Christmas pajamas. And I was starting this tradition with Charlotte of Christmas pajamas that I give her either, I haven't decided if it's going to be on the first day of December or if it's going to be earlier than that, maybe Thanksgiving or even earlier, new pajamas to wear for the month of December. And this year I got her the Leverett pajamas, and I wrote Cece's Christmas pajamas by Leverett, size 18 months. She has since grown out of those. She is huge. But I took pictures of her from, you know, different days wearing the pajamas, and just so cute in them. On the 21st, we had kind of a rough day, so I just dedicated it to this one picture that I blew up and then cut using my paper trimmer. Again, this was another highly edited picture that I used Red Lab for, and I did just some basic journaling that I cut out and pasted in. It was a rough morning, a balloon for her, Starbucks for me. Everyone was much happier. And I got really into my Starbucks in December. I just really enjoy the holiday Starbucks, so I decided to include a lot of the Starbucks stuff. Again, totally inspired by Ali. I totally copied her on this. She includes a lot of her Starbucks things. So I actually punched the bag and put it in, which she inspired me to do. Some of these things are from kits that I had purchased from aliedwards.com. I actually saved a cup. I washed and dried it. I flattened it, cut it and flattened it. And then I pasted a picture that I cut to size of my favorite Starbucks treats from this year. The peppermint mocha, which I'm still enjoying, extra whip during the holiday season, not right now, I'm trying to be better, and the snowman cookie. I look forward to that cookie every year to kind of memorialize that. And I used a ribbon here to make it evident that there's something in there to pull out, but I like the way that turned out. And then on the back of the envelope, I pasted this picture I took of Dawn playing with Charlotte. She loves it when he holds her upside down. So I edited that in Red Lab and added this Ali Edwards text over it for a little pop of color. she loves, I feel like, I don't know if this is a common experience, but I feel like most dads I know are a little bit more like roughhouse a little bit more with their kids than moms do. And so she loves like climbing all over him, and he kind of like tosses her about, just in a playful manner, of course, obviously. But she just loves it. You can see her joy there. The next page was a company-wide email that Don sent out for his work that I'm not going to share here, but it was sort of his Christmas, another kind of like end of year holiday message to his team, and it was something I really wanted to commemorate and save. So I actually just printed out the email. I stuck the chipboard letter on top of it and just a little decoration, and that was for that day. I took pictures of Charlotte every day with her advent calendar. I got her this Little People advent calendar, which I had bought and thought I would save for the next year. I didn't think she'd be really into anything like that at this stage in her life, but she loved it, and she loves Little People stuff. We actually have some Mickey Mouse Little People stuff that she got as a Christmas gift from her aunt that she loves right now. And she just looks so forward to opening that. Every morning after breakfast, we would open a door. And I used my Instax camera to take a little Polaroid of her every day, which I then cut down to size and used glitter number stickers to put in. So these I actually put in, I filled this was I think day 22 or something that I dedicated to the spread, because I wanted to be sure to get it in before the end of the month when I could tell I was going to be running out of steam. So I ended up adding in the last few days, after the fact, because I worked on this album every night, you guys. I had to do it that way, or I knew I wasn't going to do it. But I really like the way this turned out. I used some text that I printed right onto the photo using Ali Edwards' digital files that I purchased. These stars were the ones I was talking about, these glitter stars. They actually came in a Pop Sugar must-have box as toothpicks, as like party picks. I just pulled the toothpicks off and I used them in my album. As soon as I saw them in the Pop Sugar box, I was like, I want those for my December daily album. And I used them. I think you can use a variety of things that aren't necessarily meant for what you think they're meant for in that way. Here I talk a bit more about the advent calendar. I dedicated 2 full spreads to it because I wanted this, I could have just done this, right? Just without the middle page, but I wanted to have those daily pictures I took of her right after she opened the door. There's a couple of her with her daddy. Here's one with her daddy. Most of the time when she opened it, he was already at work, so there's that. But this is probably one of my favorite things about doing the journaling, was using a combination of digital products and my own kind of formatting. It takes time to do that, but I like the way it turned out. Then, of course, I dedicated a bit more space to Christmas Eve, because that was kind of a big deal. So setting the scene, this is my parents came over for Christmas Eve dinner, so I talked a little bit more about that. Dawn made smoked prime rib, which was amazing. Sorry about the glare again. And I use a flip up thing here to include a few more pictures of my family together. It was just us this year. My brother's family came up for Thanksgiving. They alternate if they come up for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and this was the year where they came up for Thanksgiving. So they weren't here, and Don's family was already in Utah at this point, so it was just us. It was kind of nice. It was a little bit quieter. And then this was me just kind of setting up. This was right after Santa arrived and getting things together. The stockings are filled with care there. Oh, sorry about the glare. There we go. Not glare, the blur. And this is me. I even time-stamped this 12:17 a.m. This is what the tree looked like. I put all of Charlotte's little gifts in her new radio flyer, kind of walking with wagon. And then I dedicated quite a few pages to Christmas itself. Again, All's Calm, All's Bright. That I cut out of a Bowden catalog, I believe, and saved that. This was a sheet that came in on one of the Ali Edwards kits. I took photos of everybody with their stockings. Stockings are very important in our Christmas morning traditions. So here's everybody opening their stocking or posing with their stocking. Even little Winnie with her head in her stocking, because I put some cookies in there. And then some pictures of opening presents with both of us. I wrote a card to Charlotte. I bought this card. I just loved the way this looked. It reminded me of an ornament I bought her this year. And I just wrote her a little note about how wonderful it was to spend Christmas with her. Kind of a note to her. And then I dedicated a couple more pages. We went to my parents for dinner. I did journaling on the back of this tag, and hopefully, you know, with that little indicator, people could figure out that that's where the journaling is if they're looking at this album and I'm not there to guide them through it. But I want to also add that I did use the tiny attacher, the Tim Holtz tiny attacher, on anywhere that I used a ribbon to kind of secure it on there, because I just didn't want things to unravel. I want this to stand the test of time. Obviously, I'm going to have to do something about the cover page, because that's not going to stand the test of time. Another picture of Winnie and her Christmas bow, us at the table enjoying Christmas dinner. And here's a close-up I took of my parents' tree that I blew up. And that's where I stopped. I ran out of steam. I brought the whole album, the whole kit and caboodle to Utah, thinking I was going to finish out the month, because we went to Utah a few days later. I didn't end up having time to, this is where I stopped on the 23rd. Daily, working on the project daily, because on the 24th and 25th I just didn't have time, and I picked back up after Christmas when we were in Utah to finish this, and then I just ran out of steam, and I also ran out of room. I mean, you can see I'm at the edge here. What I do want to do now is add in a recap right here of my experience, just a simple recap, like my reason why at the beginning. I want a kind of the results and my experience. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but that is in my plan to do. And you guys, this is a massively long video. Thank you for watching if you stuck around with it. That's the album. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that flip through. I did go ahead and take some more, well, I took some still shots from my blog of my favorite spreads, and I'll put a link to that post below. So if you want kind of a more detailed look at some of my favorite parts of the album, it's a little bit hard to photograph this kind of album because there's so many layering pieces, but I talk a little bit more in depth on the blog about those specific spreads and how, what I liked about them and why I thought they worked, and also just a little bit more about my general feelings about the project and kind of tips and suggestions I have for people wanting to embark on something like this. It was definitely, what do they call it? It's like a phrase when you do something, something of love, like a endeavor of love. That's not it. I'm like blanking. What is it? What is it I want to say? Whatever. It was definitely time consuming. I spent between 1 to 2 hours on this a night, and I took that time out of my sleeping time. I couldn't cut into my day because I'm a full-time mommy. Also, I didn't want to cut into my content producing time. I didn't want to cut into my family time. We had a lot going on with the holidays. So the only time left really was my sleeping time. So I didn't sleep as much in the month of December, but to me, looking back, it was totally worth it to lose that hour or two of sleep. For me, it's just a matter of priorities. It was important for me to work on this every single day, as I knew if I didn't, that I wouldn't do it. It's such a large undertaking. I know it doesn't seem like it, but this is very time-consuming stuff. If you want to go into this much detail, if you want to be just like a journal or something, even then, that can get time-consuming. You got to print things out and whatever. But it is a labor of love. Eureka. It's a labor of love, but I'm so pleased with it. It meant so much to me at the time. It really helped foster a sense of magic for me at the holiday season, which I wrote in my beginning bit that I shared with you, was one of my goals. I mean, yes, this is something that maybe Charlotte will want to look back on one day, but maybe she won't. Maybe she won't care. And I didn't want that to be the focus of the project for me, because that's putting a lot of pressure on somebody, especially like a baby who can't be like, hey mom, could you scrapbook my life for me? She doesn't know yet. Maybe she won't care. And I need to be okay with that. And I am. The project really right now in the present moment was for me, and it really did all I hoped it would and more for my sense of personal reflection and growth and joy in the holiday season. It really helped foster a sense of purposeful magic for me, and to me that is just like the pinnacle of the project. That is, for me, that is the reason why. Fostering that magic for myself helps me be more in the spirit for the people around me, for my family, for my loved ones. I felt so free in that. And that was a feeling I've been missing for the holidays for years. I love the holidays. I love them, but they can be complicated time. They can be very busy. They can be very stressful. We always I think throughout the year we idealize the holiday season, at least in my experience. And I know others who have spoken the same. You kind of idealize the holidays, like you look forward to them, the magic of Christmas, the tree, the decorations, the traditions, the food, the family, the spirituality, the everything. And then it can come around, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, most years it's been kind of a letdown. Not because all those things aren't there, but because I'm so stressed out that I don't enjoy them, and I don't take the time to really focus on the small moments, on what really matters, and I'm trying to make everything perfect and trying to get it all in, and just like trying too much, I think, to squeeze a lot into a very busy time of year. And doing this project helped me take a step back and look at the bigger picture. And also look at the smaller picture, look at the minutia, and really appreciate the small moments of magic, which is something I strive to do in my everyday life. But at the holidays, I think you can, at least in my experience, I can get just a little kind of bleary-eyed. There's so much going on that I feel like I'm not seeing clearly, and it just makes it go by too fast and too blurry and too frenzied. And I just didn't feel that way this year, even though we had a ton going on. So I really think this project made a huge impact in that. Even just taking the class, even if I hadn't done this project but just took the class, really put me in a better mindset for me to experience the holidays the way I always want to. And I don't know. I hope that made some sense. To at least some of you, but it really made a huge impact on my holiday experience, and really was a wonderful way to commemorate the end of a very important year in my life. And anyway, okay, I could go on and on and on, but I'll stop there. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I'm so happy to be able to share this sort of stuff with you. Like I said, if you want to see a little bit more about my project life process and how I go about doing that, I'm happy to share. I started Project Life in 2016. I did 3 or 4 beautiful months, and then I stopped. And I didn't do anything else. I just got kind of overwhelmed with it and out of the zone with it. But I've picked back up with 2017. I hope to go back to complete 2016. But right now I'm focusing on really getting the wheels turning for 2017. And I've got a good system in place. So if you guys want me to share how I go about doing that in a way that makes sense in a busy lifestyle, at least it's been working for me, I'm happy to share. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out Allie Edwards' website. She is amazing. I'm not affiliated with her or anything else. She doesn't even know who I am, but she's amazing. I highly recommend checking her stuff out. Her blog is full of looks at her work. You don't have to pay for classes to get a lot of inspiration from her. So check her out, give her some love, and here's some love for you guys. Big internet hugs. Bye, you guys. Thanks for watching. Take good care now. Oh, and happy crafting.